Welcome back, everybody. So, today we're going to talk about some Diablo stuff. I've been playing Diablo lately, and it's been a ton of fun, but I think there's 5 things that I've come across that I'm like, well, Blizzard, you gotta fix this, you gotta improve this. So let's just dive right in there and start talking about what Blizzard needs to do better. Firstly, I think everybody will agree about this, is the map. So, what about the map am I talking about? The map is massive, which is awesome. There's a ton of content. I really like that about it. But the problem is that as it stands right now, every single alt you play, you're gonna have to re-explore this map. Now, this is my main character. He's level 55. I've got a sorceress who's level 30. And I haven't explored the map fully on either. I mean, I have just not sat down to do that grind. I'm trying to do it kind of naturally as I'm doing, the Tree of Whisper stuff or the Helltide, just kind of explore things naturally. But at some point, I will get it done. Do I want to do that for every single character? Absolutely not. There's so many tiny little spaces you're never gonna go to unless you actually make an effort. Like right over here, this little nook where the cursor is being held. No one's gonna go here unless you specifically seek it out. Or like right there, there's like a little tiny patch of gray beside this bigger patch. No one's gonna go there, and I'm not doing that for every single alt. That's just ridiculous. We cannot do that. Blizzard can't expect players to do this every character, every season, forever. At some point, you're just gonna get fed up with the game. It's gonna feel like you're working too much for it. The next point that we're gonna talk about is allowing the player to run past barricades with a horse. So what do I mean by that? You know, sometimes you're just exploring the map, and like right here, you get to this barricade, and you're like, well, what if I, try to sprint with the horse past the barricade? Will I be able to do it? So let's try it. We're gonna sprint. No, it's gonna force you to get down and just break this poor little barricade. If if you're just having to get by it, you don't really care about who you're fighting here, but it's gonna make a whole event out of it, and then you can continue on with your way. It's incredibly tedious. Alright, these barricades are everywhere. I want to be able to knock them over with my horse. This awesome, cool-looking horse should be able to knock down a couple twigs that were set up by demons, don't you think? So I think that's one thing that definitely should be improved upon. It will streamline the horse movement a lot better. The horse itself is okay. I know a lot of people are kind of complaining that maybe it's a bit sluggish, but it does turn when it's supposed to. The only thing I hate is this. Makes me come down and do this before I can get past it. And then I gotta wait 6 seconds. I gotta wait for the cooldown for the horse, and then I'm probably in another fight already, and you're just wasting time where I could be halfway across the map at this point, getting to whatever objective I was hoping to get to. So there's a second point. Next, let's talk about giving bonus experience for solo play. So bonus experience for solo play is the way it should be. People who are playing with other people, they already get a bonus. They're playing with their friends. They're playing with other people. They're getting help. There's an extra source of damage where the monsters can target somebody else other than you. Okay, that's your bonus. Here we go. Here's the barricade again. Oh, jeez. That's the bonus you're getting in a team cooperative kind of play. In a solo play, what you're getting is getting pounded on by monsters, and you're, succeeding, but it's a lot more difficult. So you should be rewarded a little bit. I think a 10% experience gain for playing solo is definitely appropriate for that. I think there should be some kind of reward for, playing with a teammate, but I don't think it should be experience based. Like maybe you get like, I don't know, an elixir every 30 minutes while you're in a party or something like that. You can change it. I'm not saying don't incentivize people for playing with other people. I'm saying incentivize people if they're playing alone, because not everybody's going to be playing with somebody else all the time. So that's point number 3. Next we're going to talk about is point number 4. Stop nerfing efficient XP farms. So Blizzard has been doing this for so long. Every time somebody finds out an efficient way of doing something, they immediately nerf it. Oh, you want to, you know, abuse this XP farm? Sorry, we're not going to let you. Even though you're only getting, like, I don't know, an extra 20% experience compared to everything else. We're just going to level the playing field. Players spend a lot of time looking for in-game exploits. They should be allowed to at least be rewarded a little bit for finding something, right? Like, if you found that this particular method of XP farming is 20% more efficient than something else, why shouldn't you be able to do it? Why should you be forced to do things exactly the same way? You know, like, it feels like it's killing player creativity. Like, okay, I'll just do another dungeon. I'll do the same dungeon. Okay. Like, give the players some flexibility, some freedom. Stop nerfing XP farms. The next thing we're going to talk about is probably the most interesting point. And this is, Blizzard needs to buff builds early on. Every other ARPG I've played, basically when you're level 0 to 50, you're able to feel strong. As long as you're putting the points into the appropriate things for a build, you're able to feel strong. It gets to end game where then you start to feel weak until you get geared up. But here, you just feel weak by default until you get some kind of aspect to get that build going for you. And I'll show you exactly what I mean, right? So, like, I'm running this landslide build, which is doing a pretty good job. Like, I'm not really having any issues with it at the moment. But as a druid, I had a horrible time getting to this point. Alright, so this build revolves around 3 different things. It revolves around, let's see here. Let's get to the weapon. So it revolves around this thing, this imprinted aspect. So trample now summons 6 landslide pillars. Okay, so I get that to trigger along with this. Landslides, earth pillars, each strike a second time. So every time I trample, I do 6 pillars, followed by another 6 pillars, which is 12 pillars per trample, which is really efficient damage coming in for the monsters, right? We substitute a third aspect, which is when Nature's Fury key passive triggers a free skill, your non-ultimate cooldowns of the opposite type are reduced. So basically, I spam my default, like, wind shear or whatever the hell this move is, and it'll reset the cooldowns for my trample and my earthen bulwark, which is really great. Okay, so you can see here I'm doing damage pretty well. I'm clearing mobs without any issues. I'm going to spam some wind shear, and hopefully we'll see there's a cooldown reset for the trample, and then I get to do it again. Super fun build, really loving it, alright? But up until I got to this point, I had a terrible time. I almost gave up on the druid getting into World Tier 3 because I didn't think I'd be able to do the capstone dungeon at level 50. So I'll show you exactly how big of a difference just a couple of these buffs do. So let's remove the one that doubles up the landslides, okay? So we're going to unequip it. So now we're going to go into another mob, and we're going to watch exactly what happens. So instead of doing 12, I do 6, and then it's done. So it's literally half the damage, okay? It's still feeling okay, because the one that gives you the 6 pillars does a pretty good job. Okay? So let me clear this mob. It's taking a lot longer right now, and I'm still relying on this cooldown refreshing, which is just not popping for me. Really unlucky, because it's supposed to have a 25% chance of popping. But everything's just so much more sluggish right now. It's taking forever just to do this mob. I would have been done already if I had my ring that doubled up the pillars, but I don't. So this is taking a very long time to do this. Now let's see what happens without this and without the Nature's Fury skill. So I'm gonna go and do a landslide, and we'll see exactly what happens in the next mob. Alright. Wait, actually I don't have a weapon equipped. Oh no. Just put that on there. Alright, so I'll activate all my other skills. We'll do trample. Nothing pops. We'll start doing landslides. And now I'm out of resource. I'm gonna have to manually, do some basic attacks, get my resource up. And look how sluggish that is. That's incredibly slow. It takes forever. So, like, this build is just non-viable right now without aspects. Even though I'm only level 55, this build just doesn't work. Let's try it again. So we'll do a trample, we'll pop everything else, and then now we'll start popping the landslides. I'm barely taking out 2-3 enemies at once. Oh my goodness, and look at that. I'm about to die. Oh, jeez. Oh my goodness. So this is just for one mob. How long is this taking me? Like 30, 40, 50 seconds to do that one mob? That's impossible. It feels awful. So that's the one thing that I will complain about is not all builds are viable. Sometimes you look at a core skill and you're like, wow, that core skill is so cool. I want to make a build around it. And Blizzard's like, nah, you can't do it. You're going to die. Well, you can do it actually, but you got to be level 70. You got to have 3 or 4 specific aspects and the right gear, and then you can do it. But in your early game, you're going to hate your life because you can't do it. So that's the biggest thing. Blizzard, please, please, please allow the freedom of players to do whatever they build they want, especially early game, when early game is supposed to be like this exploratory phase of the game. Alright guys, so those are my 5 things that I want to see improved with Diablo. I think it's an awesome game so far, but it's got a long way to go, and I'm curious to see what Blizzard does. If you guys like this content, please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you next time.